This time, we'll invite Anne to come to the pulpit and share with us her remarks.
I don't know after Dee Dee singing how anybody can follow that up without crying, so I'm in a good place. Thanks, Peters. So I think we can all agree what a wonderful job Dee Dee did, especially under the circumstances. So. First, to all of our family who couldn't make it, you're all in our thoughts and our prayers, and appreciate all the love and support that you've given us. Bill and Regina, we know you're here with us. JT, Alyssa, and Aurora. Maria, Joe and Amy, BJ and Chrissy, Uncle Nick and all the Clemens family, Aunt Cass and the Bunning family, and little Joey Shuttleworth. We know you're with us and we appreciate all your love and support. To everybody who's here, thank you very much for all the outpouring of your love, your prayers, everything you've given us. It gives us so much strength. Father Mark, thank you very much for everything. Of course, the blessings for my father. After my dad died, I volunteered to do the eulogy. Well, kind of demanded it. I wanted to do it because I thought there could be no final gift to my dad to be able to tell everyone how wonderful he was. Well, then I panicked. I can't write. Heck, who those that know me can't know I don't spell very well. How can you summarize how wonderful somebody is in within 3 minutes when they've lived 87 years? That's a tough job, so give me some slack. Then I spoke to our brother Bill, who said, speak from the heart and try and let Dad's sense of humor come through. Everybody knows Dad had a wonderful sense of humor, sometimes a little crude, which I inherited, sometimes a little inappropriate, which I inherited, and a lot of times professional when he had to pull it together, and hopefully I can maintain that because I'm pretty sure the family's taking bets on how soon I cry. So, Webster's dictionary describes the word legacy as a noun, something transmitted from an ancestor or predecessor. Well, with due respect to Webster, I would like to describe it as an action, something that happens because of somebody. If you look, please look around the church at each other. No, really, go ahead. Father knows we do it all the time. Look around at each other. If you look around, you will find a church filled with about 40 direct descendants from my mom and dad. That's 40 people that have the Shuttleworth blood pumping in them, plus more than 16 indirect descendants. That's a legacy. That's the action of our parents who brought us all here together. However, I'm pretty sure that the amount of cars owned by Dad and Mom exceeds the amount of all of his descendants here. Dad loved his cars. Dad was born to a mom who didn't want him and a dad who didn't care much about him. Thank goodness for his grandparents who loved and cherished him. I think this is why he tried to be the best grandfather, or Poppy as we call him, to the grandkids as he could. Many times Poppy would have several events to attend the same day, whether they be, sorry, my papers are sticking together. And I can't lick them because of my mask. Okay. Whether they be wrestling, dance, volleyball, baseball, football, theater, cross-country, track, you name it. He always thought his kids played the best, even if sometimes clearly they did not. Sadly, when my dad was about 13, his grandparents passed, leaving Dad on his own and a promise that someday he would find a way to properly honor his grandparents. Our dad lived by living in boarder rooms, working jobs from stacking bowling pins to racking pool mulligan. I had to look that up because I thought it was a golf term, but it's actually a pool term as well, for Minnesota Fats, who I originally had Fats Domino, and I'm like, no, that was Minnesota Fats. He made pizzas and subs all while putting himself through school. He joined the Navy in 1952 but got his leg crushed between two PT boats and was honorably discharged in 1954. He was sent home to the hospital with a cast and told he probably would never walk. My dad has no self-pity. He was always a little stubborn. Wonder where my sisters and brothers get it from. He proved them wrong. He left his crutches at the bus stop and came back to Philadelphia, where he got reacquainted with the most beautiful woman in the world, my mom, Catherine. They married and spent the next 65 years being the most adorable couple, putting a lot of pressure on us thinking, what are we doing wrong in our marriages because our parents are so perfect? So thank you for Mom. They loved God, their children, and my dad's work. He would work sometimes 3 jobs, again, putting himself through more school and providing for his ever-growing family. They were a good Catholic family. Proof of that were 7 children. They stopped after me, I guess because they finally got the perfect child. They moved us from Philly because my dad was concerned about how the older kids were turning out. Billy, Joey. They moved to the country and Dad started working for Leeds and Northrop. Sometimes the Leeds family felt more like our family. We got to know their names. There was Joe T, there was Joe Yonta, there was Howard Klaus. Then in 1995, Dad retired, so he thought that he would start consulting. Then the names like Louise and Dave became second family members. Oh, back to remember when I told you about his dear grandparents? Well, keeping his promise, as soon as he retired, he got some extra money. He bought them their headstone and to have their final legacy. That was more of what Dad continues to teach us, that love goes beyond death. That's what he did for his grandparents, and that's what we will do for him. My dad loved to fish. We had special memories of spending time with him. He loved to work on cars, although the truth be known, not a single family really member knows why. He had a little bit of a bad temper, throwing things, wrenches, screwdrivers, and an occasional transmission. None of us could drive until we could change a tire and our own oil. We had to be independent. Even some of the grandkids worked in the cars, as I remember there's a picture of Frankie sitting in the car engine working on it with Poppy. Dad told us girls there was nothing that we couldn't do that a guy could do. Then, in the same breath, he would say, now go in the kitchen and go see if your mother needs help. Towards the end, he was frustrated because there was so much his mind wanted to do, but his body couldn't. He worked on models, played in his garden, but mostly loved his dear honey, Kathy. Thank you, Dad, for all your love, support, sense of humor. We love you so much. My dad entered this world alone and unwanted. He left it surrounded by his wife, his children, and his grandchildren. That is what I call a legacy. We love you, Dad.